friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Factorio, one of the finest city building, engineering, transport management, resource wangling games I've ever come across. In fact, it is possibly the ultimate in this kind of game. Maybe you think I'm overselling it. Well, I'll leave that for you to decide. Ahead of starting a brand new series on Factorio, once it releases on Steam, what I'm going to do today is just show you a few basics to get you started, because there are a few small tips and tricks that can help you out when you're first starting on a new build. First things first, resources. Well, as you can see, we've got this enormous copper ore vein here, which is a good thing, but we need, more importantly, iron. We're going to go through iron, and as you can see, we zoom out quite a bit, plenty of iron in the area, and that's all important for just about everything. Copper, don't get me wrong, extremely important. Iron, however, you will use more than anything else. We're also, however, going to want to think about later in the game, we're going to need some oil, and fortunately enough, this particular map has a few oil resources here already. We're also going to need stone, which doesn't tend to cluster in quite such large clumps. Zoom in a little so we can see it better. And we're going to need some fuel. Now, the fuel options you have to begin with are going to be wood and coal. It's going to be a little while before you go any further than that. Now, there's a coal source here, but it's pretty lackluster. So I'm going to need to find a larger one. So my first tip to you, look around before you start. I mean, there's nothing to stop you placing down your starting mining equipment to get going. But if it ends up being miles away from your nearest fuel source, you're going to be a little bit disappointed because you're going to move it all. So look, we've got more iron here. The map is actually pretty handy. This looks up here, if we bring up the full map, up here looks like it has the potential for quite a large coal resource. Well, it's large. Yeah, no, here we go. There's a reasonable amount of coal here. And then we go, well, is there any iron nearby? And I think this patch down here, I mean, it's not close, but it's close enough. Now, as you move away from your first starting point, you are going to, well, in all likelihood, you're going to be closer to where the alien nasties are. But we can live with that for the time being. Now, first thing to do, get some fuel on the go. You're going to find it useful. Now, I'm chopping this wood here, these fallen trees. I'm chopping these by hand. Nothing wrong with doing that, but as you can see from the progress bar at the bottom, it's not exactly quick. So my recommendation is to use some of your starting iron plate here and build yourself an iron axe. It won't use all of it, only uses half of it, but the difference in speed is well worth it, as you can see. Very little effort required in getting this wood chopped. And I mean, the same goes for trees. If you want a bit of tree, go for it. Anyway, wood is going to represent our major fuel source to begin with, while we start to get some of the resources we'll need to expand on what we've got to begin with. So burners are the order of the day. There we go. I've stuck down my my burner mining drill, and we'll get that rolling in a moment. Now, there are several schools of thought. So what I could do here is I could build myself a wooden chest. All right. We'll just have built 5 of those. Well, never mind. That's going to come in handy anyway. That's right click rather than left click if you want to build 5 at a time. But that's okay. We'll use them. So I could put my chest right in front of the drill here, and all of the ore that we collect. Let's get this fella rolling, shall we? There we go. On the go. All of the ore that this guy collects will now drop directly into this chest, and will show up as soon as it turns up in there. There we go. If you press the Alt key, obviously, it shows you what's in the chest. But I don't want to do that. I want to bypass this process a little further, because the iron ore itself, not so helpful. What you want is iron plate. And as you can see, it's now going straight into this stone furnace, which also needs fuel. But that's it's far preferable to cut out the wait period and just have it smelting at source, at which point you get your iron plate going. Now, what I want to do next is I want to build another one of these setups. So I'm going to grab the iron plate I've got from here. Give me all of it, thank you. And then I'm going to need some stone because what you need if you're doing anything with burners is you need stone in order to make furnaces. It's the other thing I should have checked for. We've got some oil here, which is going to come in handy later. But by and large, by the time you actually get around to needing oil, you have the ability to move stuff around quite easily with conveyor belts. And we'll get to conveyor belts relatively soon. So I found some stone. Here we go. I want loads of it. Now, you could build a burner and a chest in order to get this stone ready for you. But that's, well, for my money, that's a little bit wasteful to begin with. There are things you can be doing faster than using your miners immediately to be grabbing stone. I don't know. Maybe there's some wisdom in that. Maybe a stone, a burn. No. Stick to the plan, man. Stick to the plan. What do we need here? Hold on. I need some more iron to make this. So I'm going to make my first burner drill now. And I'm going to make another one in order for my next project to kick off. And you'll see why I need two in just a moment. See what I mean about not building stuff too far away from each other? And also keep a mental note of where you've parked things. Because it's not until you've got a fairly significant base that the map's going to give you any hints as to where you've left things. So I need some more wood here because we're out of juice on our drill. There we go. If I get 20 in, it's kind of regretting having built all those chests now, but there you go. They will come in useful. Let's go just a little bit more. Right, there we go. 30. That'll do nicely. So let's get this fella rolling again, and then let's grab all the iron plate we've got in there, and then we'll stick some more fuel in there just to keep that rolling. Okay, so I now have enough to build my second burner drill here, and this is one of the most efficient ways that you can get your fuel rolling. So we don't want coal burns much more efficiently than wood does, and we're going to drill it. We're going to make sure that it ends up in a box. So far, so straightforward. But then I don't want to fuel it by just sticking wood into the drill. I want to fuel it by putting coal into the drill because you get that much bang for your buck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my wood into this drill here, and then as soon as that's output its first one, it's going to feed it into the other drill, which in turn is going to feed coal out into the box. Now what you'll notice quite quickly is the amount of coal that we've got in stock here is way more than we actually need. So even when this first drill has burnt through all of the wood that I've got in there, this second one's going to keep on ticking. So that's going to keep me going for coal quite happily. I mean, obviously we're still at the stage where I'm manually moving things around, but it's early days. It's early days, and these are the days you will miss later on as your technology starts to advance. So how much have we got in the box here? We've got 10 in the box. Very good. Very good. Right. How much? I've got enough for one more furnace, but I'm going to need some more stone. And this is much of what your early game is made up of. Now, you will see, as I mentioned near the start, in fact, let's call up the big map for this one. We've got this little red patch up here. That's aliens. I am a little closer to them than I would really choose to be at this time. Now, fortunately, they will leave you alone, I mean, depending on your game settings. If you go with default game settings, they will leave you alone up until you start heavily polluting the place. And, I'm not quite at that stage just yet, but it won't be long before they take an interest in the mess I'm making of their planet. So you don't want to hang around forever before you start thinking defensively. Right, okay, so back here at Coal Central. Second one still ticking along, 22 coal in stock. That's going to keep going for a while, but the first one is out of juice. So I'm going to just drop this lump of coal that I had already collected in there. I'm going to grab the other lot. No, just grab the other lot, thank you. So that grabbed me another 22 coal, which is great. That's going to keep the iron facilities going once I get there. If you want a game where there's not a hell of a lot of running around involved, you've come to the wrong place. Running around is where we're at. Right, there we go. So I turned up just in time. This guy is just about to run out of juice. Meanwhile, 53 iron in stock here. Now you're talking. We'll take the wood with us. And once again, another miner drill or burner drill or two. Now, we're almost at the point where we can move beyond burners and get into electrical. Now, getting your first electricity up and running is, there's a lot involved. Let's put it that way. But it's well worth doing because then you only need to feed a small number of items instead of a big one. So I'm going to get some copper going as well. Exactly the same principle as before. Now, hold on. I need some coal. Fortunately, enough. Thank you. Same process again. We'll put half of it in the burner, half of it in the drill, and the other half in the furnace. There we go. So that's going to make me some copper plate, which I'll be using shortly. Last thing that I want to get going is, because we are still going to be building quite a few more furnaces, I'm going to get stone being harvested as well. Get some coal, man, get some coal. Now, we don't need stone in anywhere near as much quantity as we do everything else. So you're almost fine to just leave it to tick along nicely and once in a while go and grab everything you need. But, 30, 40 stone to get started will be more than enough to get your basics up and running. So here we go. We'll get this chap. Where shall I put him? Right there. And we'll give him another one of these chests. Thank you. And then you can have all of that. There you go. Get cracking. So I'll come to that anytime I need some more stone, which will be, well, soonish, I expect. And then we're going all the way back to the iron again. But there's not much longer left where we're actually going to be running around constantly. Pretty soon, the resources will be coming to us. Pretty soon. We've got a bit of work to do before then. But anyway, let's get over here. How much have we got here? 36. That's not bad, which takes up 70 in total. Now, what we're going to build is we are going to build ourselves an offshore pump, which needs electronic circuits. I don't have any electronic circuits. What is this madness? Well, in order to build a circuit, we're going to need some copper. Now, all of the recipes for this stuff are easily accessible within your inventory. It'll tell you exactly what you need. It's not like the early days of Minecraft where if you didn't have the wiki open, you were going to be stuffed. In this case, everything you need to know is in the game itself. So let's grab that lot. So that's 29 copper plate, which means I can build 19 circuits, more than we need. But I need one pump. And then I need some boilers, which means I need more stone. That's annoying. Didn't quite pack enough stone for this mission. I've probably got enough to start with, but I want to make sure I've got more than enough. So in order to grab everything out of the chest at once, Control, left click, grab the lot. Sometimes you might not want to grab the lot, in which case you don't just open it up and take as much as you need. Right, instead of chopping down these dead logs, which don't give you very much, I'm going to go find a forest and liberate some of the wooden goodness from the forest. And then we need to find a lake, because we're going to set up our first electricity. And with that, we will be able to leap forwards dramatically in terms of our output. Now, there's nothing to, nothing to force you adopting electricity early on. You can just as easily stick with burners for ages, and I mean, you can even get conveyors running while still rolling off burners. There's nothing to stop you doing that. But if you want to progress quite quickly, and you're going to want to, because once Johnny Alien and his chums get wind of your operation, they will come a-calling. And they will come a-calling in through the medium of trying to chew your head off. So, unless that's what you want to do for laughs. Don't get me wrong, I've got a little pistola on me, but it's not going to fend them off for very long. Anyway, right, here's our lake. This will do nicely. Now, lakes are pretty endless in nature, so we've got more than enough water to cover what we need here. But what I want is a decent area. There we go, this will do. Are you going to play ball here, friend? Right, so we get our pump in the water. Now, the pump doesn't need anything. That is now generating water. Don't believe me? Well, just take my word for it. We're then going to want 3 boilers. Right, so we just click on those. Now, a lot of these things, if we look at this boiler, for example, it requires a stone furnace, which, as we established before, requires 5 stone, and it requires some pipe, which is made of iron plate. If you don't have the constituent parts, so I didn't have 4 furnaces just kicking around, it will make those on the way to the thing that you've demanded. No, it doesn't require you to make the whole thing, to make all of the individual parts yourself. It will do it for you. And then we want 2 steam engines. A 3:2 ratio works quite well. I believe there are better ratios out there. The official forums, a fantastic place to find out optimal recipes and that kind of thing. But 3:2, so 3 boilers to 2 steam engines works perfectly well. And as you can see, we've now got the... Oh, we're not grabbing the electricity from there. So we're now going to want to get some electrical poles. And you can make as many of those as you fancy. I suggest not using up all of your resources right now, but, go mad, frankly, because, these are not going to go out of fashion in your interstellar factory for quite some time. So it's well worth, building a few so you don't run out in a hurry. Let's just keep that ticking along briefly. Right, another 49 plate there, that's enough. I can now build an electric mining drill. Oh, that is, we're about to advance into the electric age here. Here we go. Right, so the electric mining drill works more or less the same as the burner. Now you'll notice, there we go, if I put it into my torchlight here, in fact, let's back up so we can see what's going on, right? You'll notice it has a shaded green area around the outside. Now that's where it's going to pull resources from. Okay, so it's not just the stuff the actual footprint sits on, it picks from the surrounding area as well. So it's well worth, when putting your first one down, that you plan for that, so that you keep that in mind. So I want to get this this kind of bottom edge in my harvesting run, in my mining run. Just purely because I'm a little bit obsessive about making things nice and tidy. Now, maybe you don't care, but I sure as hell do. And the reason for that will become apparent in a moment. So I'm going to now hook that up to the electricity. Now, we're not actually generating any electricity at the moment, but we will be. And you can see this because it's showing the, hey dude, you're not actually making any electricity. We're going to dig this lot up because they're coming with me. So as before, we'll stick our stone furnace directly outside the electric miner drill. We'll give it 2 coal. I need to go and get some more coal. But now we are ready to rumble. Now these 3 boilers, we're not going to need all 3 of those from the get-go. And even if you do oversupply, it will only use as much as it needs. Right, so if I've got all 3 of these stocked up with coal, it will only power up the ones it needs to supply everything that I've currently got rolling. And as you can see, we're now ticking along. Now, the big thing about electric mining is it is faster than using burners. You will progress much faster using an electric miner than you will a burner mine. So let's get some more coal so we can get that on the go. And then we'll work on automating this entire system. So as we head back over here to our coal burner setup, which is still perfectly acceptable. Now, obviously, if I wanted to, I could replace this with electric as well. There would, and in fact, I definitely will at some point. And as you can see, the drill itself has got 50 coal in it now, and I've got 131 waiting for me in the chest. This is a very good thing. Meanwhile, over here in Copperland, let's get that rolling for a good long time. I'll take all this copper. So already we've got to the point where we're generating resources at a reasonable lick. We're getting stuff in nice and quick now. I'm going to get my my power juiced up, and then we'll move on to the next stage of automating this stuff. So I want to make sure that that these boilers can stay stocked up for a while. So I'm going to give them all a little bit of fuel. And as mentioned, it will only ever use as much as it needs to. Hang on, I just clicked the same one again, didn't I? Now, what I need is the middle one here. That's not the middle one. That's the middle one. Right, let's put another 7 in there. Now, I don't know if you can see from this angle. I chose a lousy angle to demonstrate. Actually, no, it's not too bad. At the moment, we're only using the first boiler. You can see, because there's some steam coming out of it, some smoke coming out of it, and it's flickering away. These other two, not being used. So that's going to keep me ticking along there for quite some time. However, we are out of coal here as well, so let's get that going. And then, next job is we're going to build ourselves some transport belts. Now, every time you build one of these, you actually make 2. Hold on. So I'm gonna click up a bunch here. I don't want to use all my resources. I always try and keep a little of something left over, just in case my pickaxe breaks or something along those lines. And the reason that I want these, and I haven't got enough. You might be lucky with your map seed, but this map, the seed number for this map actually is 1. That's it. This is just seed number 1. Nice and easy to remember. Let's grab that. And instead, here we go. So now, the coal that we're making is being brought over in this direction. There we go. See? Pretty thrilling stuff. Now, if I've got a bunch more of these conveyors in stock, I'm definitely going to need some more iron. Then we can run this coal all the way down. All the way down to our electricity plant. Which means I can then set that up to automatically resupply these furnaces so they keep going, the boilers, so they keep going ad infinitum, which is incredibly useful. And we're going to simulate now exactly what that might look like. Okay, so imagine I have run the conveyor all the way here. What we'll do is, so the conveyor's coming all down as far as here, right? So down next to my my boilers, and then I'll only do 2 for the moment. There we go. So those are inserters. Now, inserters are, they're a mechanical grabber arm, effectively. As you can see, they're both hungry for a little bit of electricity, so we'll juice them up. I need 1 more for this demonstration. And then we'll put a chest here, and the chest is going to simulate the coal coming from the coal mine itself. So if we put, let's not put all of it on there. Just bang half of it on there with another inserter. Now these early electric poles that you have going on, they don't have the longest range, but they're nice and cheap. And there you go. This will now continue unloading from this chest until the chest is empty, or until it can't put down the item that it needs. There we go. Now you might ask yourself, well, why are these 2 chaps not doing any grabbing? Oh, hello. That sound is aliens paying attention to my fine works. In fact, this mushroom cloud over here is a demonstration they've just wrecked something. Hey there, fellas. Now, the early, those chaps were just biters, right? They're the most basic you're going to get. They trashed both of them. Ooh, that's low. All right, well, we'll pick all this stuff up. If you want to pick stuff up, just hold F and you'll pick it back up again. Now, with these conveyors, I can't pick them up directly. What I have to do is I have to dig them up with my axe. Right, and that's just a case of holding our right click, pushing along, and off you go. Okay, so as I mentioned at the outset, I have built a little close to the aliens in the north. maybe they'll leave me alone long enough to make some progress. So I think what I'd probably do next is I'd put an electric mine on here, because that's less likely to attract attention. It'll probably attract some, but it doesn't create quite as much pollution, which aliens do get decidedly upset about. And then they're more likely to come target my electric facilities. Anyway, that's an early introduction to how the game is run, and to give you an idea on how it's going to expand out of this. I haven't even touched research yet. No, not even touched it. But that's coming up soon. So if you think about the use of conveyors, right? So if we imagine that conveyor belt wound its way down here, I wouldn't need to use the chest. Chest is a perfectly good way of using it. And in fact, chests are essential later in the game for buffering materials that you've got coming in, and making sure that you have a constant supply of all the materials you need. Equally, I could be running coal directly to my furnace here. In fact, let's do it. I'll show you. Go. Let's grab one of that. There's our simulated belt once again. Grab these chaps as well. Might as well. There you go. So if we just make out that once again this is a conveyor coming in, I'm just going to put a chest here for now. Let's bang that full of coal. Needs juicing up, so let's place another telegraph pole in here. And now it will grab coal from there every time we're out over here. And as if by magic, I'll take some out. And there we go. It will keep it topped up to a minimum level. It will keep it to a serviceable level, which I believe is 5. There we go. Once it's got 4 in, it will drop 1 more. In fact, let's sit around and wait until that happens. But the same thing is true, right? Okay, so across the board, inserters following on from conveyors, or in this case a chest, will keep your stuff moving along automatically. And of course, I don't want to be in a position where I'm only running one mine. In fact, as you can see, this one's not even running all the time. And the reason it's not running all the time is my little stone furnace here can't keep up with the pace. So what I'd want to do is, let's get rid of this. I'll give you a quick let's see. Sticking it on the floor. Again, conveyor it out. And then instead of 1 stone furnace, have I got enough here? Yeah, I've got enough here. We'll have 2 stone furnaces, and we'll stick them next to each other, and then we'll stick a couple of inserters on there. We'll get them fired up. It helps if you actually put it in the right place, man. There we go. Get those fired up, and now these are grabbing iron ore automatically and sticking them in the furnace. Now, the other thing that I could be doing here, in fact, I'm going to do here, is I would probably also run coal down the other side. Now, I've set this belt up so that it runs down the right-hand side of the belt, while this miner is putting every piece of ore down the left-hand side of the belt. Right, so once again, we're simulating this coming direct from the coal mine. Stick some of that in there. There you go, so that's going to load the belt up. That'll run it down the other side here. These chaps will go, oh yeah, I need some coal. So these will grab the coal as it comes past. There we go. That's now a fully automated mining system. Almost. Because that's not enough. So maybe I stick a chest out the other side of each of these, and an inserter grabbing from the furnace with a little bit of power. And then, as we make an iron plate, it's going to grab it, stick it in the chest. As you can see, there are many opportunities to expand on this dramatically. So, adding more miners, followed by more furnaces, and obviously I want to bring the copper in here, and before you know it, you're starting to work from a factory centre and expanding out from there. And in my forthcoming playthrough, that's exactly what I'll show you. So tune in tomorrow. We'll be starting a brand new series starting tomorrow, and I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.
This